But this is the counter because, again, here I am, I'm sitting. When we sit, see the angle I'm talking about? Shortened. And then we go to stand up, and it's like, oh, you got to peel, you can't straighten up the hips, right? So this is getting that length and giving a better balance for the shortening of the front hip.
Hi, welcome to the Judy Terrell Show, where I explore topics intended to optimize every body 50, 60, 70, and above.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to my fourth installment of my 6-part series where I am talking about joint pain, especially over 50, 60, and beyond, and how everyday repetitive positions and movements are making these conditions, osteoarthritis, fraying of the labrum in your shoulders or your hips, tendinitises, bursitis, any number of diagnostics that we've been given. I'm not saying that what I'm going to teach you is going to correct those things, but what I am saying to you is that everyday repetitive patterns sometimes make them worse and create pain and discomfort. And if we know what to do to counterbalance those everyday patterns, in my practice, working one-on-one with clients in the personal training realm of my job, I can help people to, get out of pain without surgeries, and then minimize, the pain medications that they need on everyday life. So that is what this series is about. I've been working down the body. We are on episode number 4, and I am now into the hips. All right, and so the most repetitive position that we're in every day, and I'm kind of illustrating it right here, but I'm going to do it from the side so you see. When we sit, and we sit a lot, even those of us who think we don't, we sit in our cars, we sit at the table to eat, we sit at our desk, we're sitting, and you can see that when we sit, there's a rounding of the lower back and a shortening of these hip muscles, right? So if I was sitting in a chair, I'm kind of not in a chair, but you see how this angle right here is shortened, all right? So what happens, there's a group of muscles that are called the hip flexors, and they literally flex our hip, right? But because we're sitting so much, these get really tight. So then when we go to get up, and I'm not going to get fully up just because of the purpose of this video, but then we go to get up, and these stay locked up, creating a distorted alignment through the hips, all right? That can cause lower back problems. It can cause knee problems. It can cause a variety of hip joint issues over time, right? Arthritis being one of them, osteoarthritis. Because we're grinding, every time we move, our alignment is off, which you can see right here, so the bones are not lining up right, and you're getting a friction, and a wearing away, and then inflammatory conditions, hence osteoarthritis. So this forward sitting position, which rotates our pelvis, so it kind of tucks our tailbone between our legs, creates a situation where these front muscles that are called the hip flexor as a group are very chronically tight. And then when you go to straighten them out, like you can't because they're so locked up, right? And that is the position that is done over and over again, every day. And I'm going to show you the counterbalance for that, all right? So the counter is you're going to come up into a kneeling position, and you can do this on a bed as well, but I'm going to actually show you, because I've been talking about being able to do everything on the floor in this series on a bed, but in essence, the one I'm going to show you right now is better to be done on a chair, which I'm going to show you in a second. But let me show you on the floor first. So you come into a kneeling position, and you're going to bring one leg forward. It doesn't matter which, because you're going to do both. Now, you're going to put your hands on your hips, and the first thing you're going to do is you're going to pull your thumbs down and your fingers up so that you are going to move out of, this is this overly rotated position, but
Your Second 50 Life is my virtual platform that is designed for both men and women over 50 and 60, 70, and 80, and it includes pre-recorded video information on exercise and how to do it whether you're fit and in good health or if you have bad knees, bad shoulders, a bad back, whatever. It includes information on how to eat for weight management and how to eat for health management. It includes information on the psychology of aging And what do we need to do in our heads? Because let's face it, this aging thing is not for the faint of heart. So your Second 50.life is a virtual platform of resources that you can access at your own leisure, but it also includes 2 times a month live video coaching with me so that you can bring your own individual questions and get individual coaching, as well as have access to all the information on the pre-recorded videos. So please check it out, because we're all in this together and we got this.
So now you want to bring the thumbs up, and the fingers down, and just kind of slightly rotate the pelvis into a natural lordotic curve, balancing out a hyperflexion, okay? Then, keeping the hips in that position, you're going to come forward. Now, by coming forward, you can see this angle opens up, and now we're opening up what was a shortened position. What happens to many people here, though, is they then go into an overly, they're either constricted, and then they don't get too far. So you got to keep your pelvis in this like neutral alignment, thumbs slightly down, fingers like lining that up, and then come forward. Because what will happen is, to compensate, you'll either stay in too tucked a position, then you kind of get locked, right? You can't get very far. So you've got to keep that pelvis in neutral, or as neutral as you can get it, and this will be progressive as you do this more and more. It will get so you can get back into neutral from an overly tight position, and then you're going to just come forward. But it's important that you're bringing your hips forward and not just leaning forward, right? I have a lot of people that think they're doing the stretch when they're doing this, but they're still locked up here. It's this forward, you can see that, this bringing of the pelvis forward, which is going to open and lengthen this front hip flexor area. Then you're going to hold for 30 seconds, come back out, and then do it again, hold for 30 seconds, come back out. And I usually tell people to do 5 of those and then go to the other side once or twice a day. All right? Now, if you can't get to the floor, you've got kitchen chairs without arms, okay? So you'd be sitting on the kitchen chair this way, no arms on the chair. Scoot your butt like halfway on the chair. Take your one leg that's off the cheek of the butt that's off the chair, and you're going to just bring that leg back. Your toe is on the floor. You might not get very far. You might only get to here. But now the thing is, wherever length you can open this hip up, you are now going to pull the tailbone down, and you're going to feel, again, this front, you can feel the tissue, the traction of it lengthening. Make sure your shoulders are back, your chin is like parallel to the floor, so the upper body, you're not doing it in this position, right? Align all the things I've taught you already in the earlier videos in this series. And now you're going to just pull the tailbone down to get more length in the front of this hip flexor area. Hold it for 30 seconds, come out of it, kind of regroup for a second, catch your breath. Some of this stuff is kind of breathless just because it's like so intense. The feeling sometimes as we're trying to stretch it, and then bring it back and do 5 on each side. You can do this in your office if you're still working. You can do this if you've been sitting in a chair for a long period of time in the chair, as long as it doesn't have arms on it. But this is the counter, because again, here I am, I'm sitting. When we sit, see the angle I'm talking about? Shortened. And then we go to stand up, and it's like, oh, you can't straighten up the hips, right? So this is getting that length and giving a better balance for the shortening of the front hip and the extended periods of time that we're in that position, and just countering it with some lengthening, which is going to oftentimes helps alleviate hip pain, but also lower back pain. All right, everybody, thank you. This is episode number 4 in the series. There's 2 more to go. I'm working down the body. Next, I'm going to hit the quad knee area, and then into the feet and the ankles. See you in the next one. And if you'd like to have access to some of my additional resources, I can be found at Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and on my website, www.judyterrell.com.